and yours are well too. Today's question is, can CFA Level 1 be done with self-study? Yes, I did it. I think mostly CFAs have done it with self-study. It's a self-study course. Um, Students are supposed to do it with self-study. Okay, so yeah, plain and simple. Can it be done with self-study? Yes. Should you do it with self-study? Now, that's a separate question because it will depend. Remember, most of the data that we have about CFA candidates, this is related to people who are relatively more experienced and little bit more older. In the past, remember, in the past years, CFA was not that. Actually, you are not allowed to even appear in exam before graduation, and then it was gradually relaxed that you can do it in the last year. So now a lot of young people are going for CFA exam, but earlier mostly people who were doing going for CFA exam, they were different. For example, they were already working in investment banking or asset management or financial management. But so yeah, so there are so many factors that go into this. Um, so why there are so many coaching sources available? Why there are so many people who provide coaching? For example, why 4,000 plus students have paid me for coaching? A number of reasons um, that I can think of. For example, if you have searched for this question, you could have read a Google article, but you have preferred to watch this video. If you wanted to know whether you can do CFA Level 1 with self-study, you could have read an article. I'm sure there are many, but you have preferred to watch a video. That shows that you find that watching a video is more effective way of learning. See? So then what about those thousands of pages? It won't be that easy to go through the text as opposed to someone who is talking and there is a video. So it becomes more enjoyable for a lot of people who prefer to watch videos as opposed to those who prefer to read text. And second is, as a coach, we try to bring stories. We try to make things interesting because that's the only way we can add value. No? Otherwise, why would a student pay us? Remember, we're not government professors. It's not like government has assigned us as teacher and we are going to teach, which happens in number of institutions. Over there, then teacher is not that much concerned with what student think about him because it's more like a job and students have to accept whatever is available, but not in our case. We as coach have to make sure that we are adding value. So whenever we add value to students studies by telling them stories. Stories are interesting and stories are easy to remember. Many students have given me this feedback. They were able to recall my stories in the exam. Um, and remember, stories have to be relatable. If I'm teaching someone who is working in New York in financial management, then he will be interested in very different type of stories. But if I'm teaching someone who has never invested his money, has never worked in investment management, and is not aware of the whole stock market and investments, then for him or her, I need to bring a story which is different. So that is another advantage that as coach we bring relatable stories. Another thing is that because remember these are 10 topics. So number of time what happens when you're going through material, for example, when you're going through quantitative techniques, you'll come across material which is related to portfolio management or derivative. Now there are two choices. Should you put an effort and try to understand it while you're studying in quantitative method, or should you leave it for the topic of portfolio management? This is where our experience and our expertise come in, and we are able to guide students that look this topic, though it is covered here in quants, but it is better, for example, to cover it in portfolio management. We will discuss it in portfolio management. Another way we try to add value is the fourth way is that we identify what is examinable and what is not. Actually, I go through material and I help students identifying what to waste energies on and what not to. Remember, I have spent 20 years in this, so I have some pretty good idea of what kind of material is examinable. It has to do with the way exam is structured, and it has to do with what CFA Institute has explained in terms of how they set up exam. Some of the topics are more likely to be examined just because of the nature of the topic, and some topics are less likely to be examined. And we as coach have better idea compared to someone who is studying for the first time. Another way we add value is by being available for clarification of any doubt. Even today, there were some confusions because there were some mistakes, and students were really struggling with those mistakes. And they asked me, and then I helped them in understanding that yes, there is a in some practice questions. Yeah, there are a lot of mistakes. You'll be surprised to come see how many mistakes are there in the official material. CFA Institute is trying to fix that, but when you have 3,000 pages and 3,000 questions, there can be mistakes. So that is where we as coach come in because we are available for students. So we help them in identifying that where there is a mistake and what can be avoided. Another is some complex topics. If you have not worked in finance or investment, a lot of information may not make sense to you because, for example, the book has not considered that information or has not explained that information in that detail because the book has assumed that it is such a basic concept and you understand it. But me, as a teacher, as a coach, can understand that because you do not have background. None of even your friend has a background or your family has a background in investment. So you are not even familiar with it. For example, one popular problem for that I see, for example, when it comes to fixed income, bonds, there are a lot of concepts which are completely new to people who have never invested in fixed income. And finally, number of times terms have very different meanings. So, for example, when you talk about fixed income, the term return. Now, typically, when you use the word return in English, it is like you purchase a shirt, you did not like it, so you're returning it. But that's not the meaning of word return is entirely different in finance and fixed income. And there's a long list of terminologies which are English words, but they're very different meaning when it comes to CFA. So these are the value additions that we provide. We tried, and more importantly, I think the most important benefit that I provide is that me and people like me, we are available for you. I remember one of my students thanked me a lot, and he said he passed level one, level two, and level three, and he said, "So it was very helpful. Your coaching was helpful, but the real help was because I could ask questions." And I thought about it. I said, "Hold on, but I don't remember you asking many questions." And he said, "You know what, sir? I never asked question actually. What used to happen, I would read a concept and then I would think of what question I'm going to ask. And then while I'm thinking that this is the question that I'm going to ask, the concept will make sense to me. So it was very rare that I had to actually ask a question. So you see that confidence, that feeling that there is someone available that you can approach whenever you need for your studies help, that is another benefit. So there are a lot of benefits of having coaching. Obviously, there is cost. The question is obviously you need to do cost and benefit analysis. And if cost is too high compared to the benefit, then you should go for self study. But if you feel that the benefits are more valuable than the cost, then no harm in getting coaching. At least it cannot hurt, right? At least if it is not going to add value, the worst you can lose is what? Some amount that you have paid as fee. That's the worst that can happen. But think of the other way. You do not get coaching. And in the middle where sometimes you realize you're stuck. Now you are lonely, you are alone. There is no one. No one to help you out. And what if it happens a month before the exam? And probably that is the time when you will think about, I should have spent money on this. Now I have no one to help me. So personally, if you can afford, I think it is nice to have someone available to help you. Think of sports. Almost every competitive sportsman has a coach. Why? Can't they do it themselves? I think they can, but still, if you have a coach, it becomes easier, and someone can look at your performance and can guide you how to improve it. So the short answer to the question is yes, you can do CFA with self study. Coaching is not required, not necessary. It's an optional thing. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye.